Namaste and a warm welcome to the speaker and all the participants to the fourth day of Bharatiya Management Navaratri lecture series, organized by SES in collaboration with ICFI Foundation for Higher Education Hyderabad and Ramaya Institute of Management Bangalore. Navaratri wishes to all of you. We are delighted to have you join for day 4 of the Navaratri e-lecture series. It offers a unique opportunity in developing inner strength and nurtures self-reflection and devotion that guides up towards empowerment, wisdom, and transformation. It is through this lens that our series seeks to explore and celebrate these values in our everyday life. We'll begin with the session 7. The topic for today is going to be Purushartha-based leadership. At the outset, I would like to welcome the resource person, the speaker for today's session, Mr. Shivakumar, sir. Welcome to you, sir.
Stay welcome.
I also would like to welcome all the participants for today's session. I take this opportunity to introduce the speaker for today's session. Sir, Mr. Shivakumar GV is a director of INDICA that is involved in helping change makers to discover passion, embrace selflessness, and pursue spiritual growth, nurturing thought leaders, providing a platform for them to build and regional public leaders. Sir holds a Master's of Technology in Computer Science from IIT Mumbai and Bachelor in Technology in Computer Engineering from National Institute of Technology, Surat. Sir has spent over decades at Mindtree holding various leadership roles. As General Manager and Head of Lateral Learning, he led large-scale skill transformation programs. Earlier, Sir served as General Manager, Digital Academy Head, and Program Director, Campus Talent Acquisition focusing on recruitment and talent development. He also held roles in Embedded Software Group, Learning and Development, and pioneered role-based technical certification programs, significantly contributing to technical upskilling and workforce development. So we are very happy to have you with us today, sir.
Thank you very much.
Now the session is over to you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, it's visible, sir.
Namaste. And thank you for this opportunity to present my perspective on Purushartha-based leadership. To begin with, let's understand the concern of Purushartha so that we can locate what leadership means in this context. We all know that Artha, Dharmartha, Kama, Moksha are the 4 Purusharthas, Chaturvidha Purusharthas. Kama is the collection of all our desires and fascinations. Artha is that which creates health, wealth, security, purpose in our lives. Dharma is the all-binding balance that ensures that all pursuits of all human beings have a certain balance. Moksha, of course, is the moving away from the pursuit of Artha and Kama and liberating one's own, renouncing and achieving liberation. It's important to note that while Kama is for the fulfillment of the mind, Artha creates instruments for the fulfillment of the mind. By instruments here, wealth, security, stability, all of that is a platform on which Kama stands. And it is important to recognize that Dharma sustains Artha and Kama, and Moksha sustains Dharma. This is one of the most important elements of Purushartha that is often ignored. Without the pursuit of Moksha, at some stage even Dharma pursuit becomes very difficult. So the perspective here is that why is all this complexity? Pursuit of Artha of any two persons or entities can clash. That is, any two communities, any two families, any two societies, any two nations. Their pursuit of artha and their pursuit of kama can clash. Rather, it will clash at some stage. Why? Because the resources of the earth, of the universe, are limited. Hence, it will clash. And dharma is needed to balance this clash. And moksha is, our pursuit of moksha is what creates that space for dharma to be pursued. In summary, this interdependence and this clash resolution requires an organization of life, which Bharatiya Parampara nurtured and kind of excelled in over a period of time. So fundamentally, the concern of Purusharthas is to pursue the well-being of not just one being, but all beings, and not just for today, for all times. And leadership comes from that. Fundamentally, it's a framework of life enabling fulfillment of all, but in a most equitable and sustainable manner for a society. To create an organization of life of this nature, once again, leaders requires an extraordinary leadership. In other features of Purushartha are a pursuit of good present, but without losing the sight of the future. The pursuit of a fulfilling life, but in a most sustainable manner. This means you cannot fulfill everything, because if you try to maximize fulfillment, then sustainability will have some kind of a damage. To balance between fulfillment and sustainability is what is Purushartha. So the concern of dharma and moksha is to create sustainable artha and kama, not just for the individual, but for the entire humanity. So the purpose of life, the meaning of life, harmony in life, happiness in life comes from recognizing this interrelationship between dharmartha, kama, moksha. In many ways, grihastha sustains today's sannyasa, which is moksha dharma. And today's sannyasa sustains future grihastha, which is the pursuit of dharmartha, kama. So that is the timeless relationship between dharmartha, kama, moksha, reflected through grihasthashrama and sannyasashrama, which has its own cycle. In this, it's important to recognize that moksha is the axiom in our pursuit of life. That is, renouncing and transcending our pursuits of dharma, artha and kama, and striving for that supreme is an essential element in our life, and that requires a different kind of a leadership in the society. Some features of dharma, moksha are, it's a state of a liberated mind. And in this state, one performs all duties, but without being affected by its results and implications. And to not go into further detail, Bharatiya Parampara created a fantastic organization of life where different people have different levels of pursuit of renunciation. But fundamentally, this is for sustainable life for all. Now moving to the Purusharthas for the individual, a summary of this can be represented in this diagram, where dharma creates a sustainable life organization and social organization for individuals to pursue their kama and artha, that is desires and securities, in a sustainable manner without hurting others, while pursuing moksha or renunciation. Moksha means everybody need not strive for moksha, but everybody recognizes the importance of moksha. This perspective of life can be reduced to one single sentence. That is, I should achieve maximum possible artha and kama so that others also can realize their maximum possible artha kama. Important here is it's not maximum artha kama. It's not even possible artha kama, but it is maximum possible artha kama. You try to maximize, but recognize the clash and always anchor at the sustainable border. So what happens when all this complexity is reduced? For an individual, all life is anchored on aspiration to become something. And one becomes something to fulfill one's own desires, to become secure in life. But one also wants to build a healthy society so that desires and securities can be pursued well. And one also experiences the divine beauty of life. So the complexity of Purushartha gets reduced to this kind of a pursuit for most people who aren't bothered about higher realities. This much derived from Purushartha would be common for everybody, where one is pursuing one's aspirations. That is, while recognizing the importance to build a healthy society, which anchors dharma, and to experience the divine beauty of life, which again anchors dharma. Some questions at each of these levels help us appreciate it better. And that is, at kama level, one is merely anchored in understanding what one's desires and ambitions are and just merely pursue them, without thinking at other things. But one graduates soon asking slightly more deeper questions at artha layer, where one wonders how to exist well, how to thrive well, how to survive for long. What should I do to achieve all this? Why do I have this? Then a little bit more deeper inquiry in terms of why do I have these desires? Why do I seem to need these things? And how to fulfill this without harming. Then when you go to the dharma layer, you ask some more deeper questions. Now that, I'm pursuing my artha and kama, how do I serve my family, communities, nation, universe well? And slightly more deeper pursuit of dharma would be, how is all this either contributing or hurting others? And some more people graduate in the pursuit of renunciation, in the experiencing of the divine, how to pursue the divine well. Some more people will graduate into how to protect the divine, pursuit of divine. Some more people will graduate into how do we harness the power of divine for the well-being of the society, and so on and so forth. So thus, there is a gradation of question where a human being gradually transitions from kama to the entire Purushartha spectrum. So where does leadership come in all of this? It is in the recognition of the fact that I am not pursuing my divine in isolation, my Purushartha in isolation. Since everybody is pursuing one's own Purushartha, there is always a clash either between two individuals or between families or between societies and so on and so forth. Any two entities' pursuit of Purushartha will have a clash. Since people in a family are individually pursuing Purushartha, not only is there a clash between them, across families, the collective pursuit of Purushartha will also lead to clash or something else happens. What is that something else? How do we represent it? Imagine this 4x4 matrix where on the y-axis, the pursuit of Purushartha of the individual exists. And on the x-axis, pursuit of Purushartha of anybody else, either my family members or specific members of the family or friends, society, patient, and so on. Now, what kind of relationship is possible? So, my fulfilling of my desire may either contribute to others fulfilling desires, or it may not make any impact on others, or it may harm others' desires. So there are three possible values: Uttama, Madhyama, and Adhama. That is the good, the neutral, and the bad. A good life is that where my pursuit of it, my desire, also positively contributes to others' pursuit of desires. Not, at least we must not be harming. Now imagine my pursuit of desire for others' desire, security, their own society making, and their own pursuit of divine. At 4 different levels, I can be contributing. And I can be either contributing at Uttama level, or Madhyama level, or Adhama level. So effectively, every cell here has 3 values that is possible. So there is a multitude of possibilities. So my pursuit of my security may contribute to somebody else's desire. So if I'm building wealth for my family, for myself, I may be able to sustain the education of one of the family members. In which case, it may be either kama or artha depending upon the situation. If it is merely desire, somebody wants to do some study and do nothing out of it, then it is kama. If that somebody is also using that studies to build one's own life, in a secure manner, then it graduates to the level of artha, and so on and so forth. So thus there are 16 different contributions that is possible, and in each of them there are 3 different possibilities. Thus it is 16 combinations of 3, 560 different Purushartha configurations one can be in, potentially speaking. But to simplify this, we can say that I can have, ideally I should be in this matrix, every value should be either Uttama or Madhyama, and none should be Adhama. That should be our goal, our pursuit of desires, security, society, divine. If I map this to anybody else in the society, either family or society or nation, all these values I should be able to have in either Uttama or Madhyama. We should at least have a few Uttamas and maximum Madhyamas. Then we are in a good shape in the society. Having said that, that is for the individual. What is it for the leadership? So this is how it maps, assuming that all of these are positive. Then that is when it becomes leadership. That is, all of this being Uttama is how our pursuit of Purushartha graduates to move into a leadership space. Now, if my desires, pursuit of my desires is contributing to others' desires, and I am myself anchored on this, I am not graduated to other levels, then that is an individual. I am still an individual. I am not a social man. So anybody largely anchoring their life on this self is an individual, a good individual, but at level 1. If my karma is contributing to others' artha, then I'm at level 2. That is, for instance, I am pursuing, it's my desire to become a lawyer. But in the pursuit of my desire to become a lawyer, I am actually protecting the innocent. Then I am contributing to somebody's artha. I am saving that person. So then I am operating at this level. If I am building my own artha, that is, by being a lawyer, I am significantly making wealth for myself. And in that process, I am enabling others to become lawyers. Then I am at individual level 3. And in this process, I am helping other lawyers to become good, secure lawyers in courts. Then I am at level 4. Similarly, a man, if I am contributing through my desires to others' society making, then I am social man 1, societal man 2, societal man 3, societal man 4. And this is societal because through my artha and karma pursuit, I am building other society. For instance, I am making a lot of wealth, but through that, if I am helping another community settle, then that is society making. Similarly, if I am through my wealth contributing to some people's divine experiences, either they're going to the yatra or their pursuit of their own divine experiences within their household, then I am a societal man contributing at this level. This layer where I am myself building the society and through that helping others fulfill their desires, securities, helping their own other societies to settle, helping others to pursue their own divine experiences. Then I am a civilization at the civilization maker level. Through my own pursuit of the divine, then through that I am enabling others to pursue their dharmartha kama moksha. Then I am at the renunciate level 4. Hence, you can demarcate this Purushartha pursuit matrix at 4 levels, where each has 4 different segments. So you can organize that into 4 levels of individuality, 4 levels of society making, 4 levels of civilization making, 4 levels of renunciations being undertaken by the individual. And this is how the Purushartha pursuit of mind, being all at the Uttama level in relation to others, elevates it into a leadership space. Thus, you can see that this is Nayaka level 1, Nayaka level 2, Nayaka level 3, Nayaka level 4. This is 5, 6, 7, 8 levels. This is 9, 10, 11, 12 levels. This is 13, 14, 15, 16 levels. If we want to mark a stepped approach in the evolution of leadership in the Purushartha space, where at each cell I am at the Uttama level. So I can be Uttama here, Madhyama all everywhere, which means I am at the Nayakatva level 1. If I am at level 2, I will naturally be fulfilling level 1 also. If I can't be Uttama here without being Uttama here, that is the gradation. To make it a little more concrete, this is what is the Purushartha leadership space looks like. If through my karma, I'm also fulfilling others' karma, then I'm an evolving brahmachari. In the next level, I'm an established brahmachari. If I'm building my security and through that I'm helping others' desires being fulfilled, then I'm a Grihastha leader, a professional leader in the modern space. I'm a professional. Through my pursuit of Artha, if I'm helping others to build their own security, Artha as well, then I'm an established. Because this requires, a higher order stability in my own life to be contributing, at depth into others' desires and security. Now we are moving to slightly risky space. This is the activist space. Why are we calling this an activist space? Because I'm still pursuing my karma, but I'm trying to contribute to my society, which is dharma at the dharma level, which requires a higher order competency, which I may or may not have built. This is where you see a lot of complexity in the modern world. A lot of people become, activists too early. They have themselves not graduated to their own dharma space. They are still pursuing their, their own desires. And through their desire itself will be, to contribute to other societal activities. Often such people are taken for a ride, to pursue wrong causes. So this is a slightly, unstable space to be in, simply because you are yourselves not yet stable. So if you have crossed your own securities and you have built your own family, your own society, then your ability to build other societies and contribute to, religious purposes or, divine experience, then you have built that ability. So this is a space where one requires, it's not wrong to be in this space. So to be in the evolving social activist, religious activist spaces, but one needs guidance from the higher layer so that one anchors this leadership space in a positive way. Whereas when you're here, that is, you've built your own society, you contributed as an individual to your society well, you know how a society forms, and now through that you are contributing to others to build their desires, securities, and you're also helping other societies to stay, stand for themselves. Then you are in a civilization maker leadership space where you are either a community maker or an economic institution maker, because I know how to build a community or an institution, and I'm through that enabling others' security, which is an economic activity. So most economic leaders are in this space. This is a socio-political institution leadership. That is, I know how to build society. I built it for small, and through that I am building larger societies. That is a social leader. That is a political leader. That is an institution maker, who has, a large-scale vision of the society. And this is a religious institution maker. You see a lot of erstwhile, in the previous era, lots of community leaders anchored religious institutions and they're functioning extremely well. Even today, they are there in such places. Because the society has lost perspective of these two and is over focused on, this layer, this layer. Due to which, we sometimes unfortunately don't see community makers. We don't see religious institution makers. We only see institution leadership, economic institution leadership, and political institution leadership. This is a distortion that has happened in the post-1947 era, where only certain kind of leadership gets a higher value, and community makers, religious institution makers don't get the right kind of attention. Of course, when you are at the dharma level, you are still pursuing your artha and kama in a sufficient way. But when you move to your experiencing the divine, that is your own moksha, your own renunciation journey has started. But you've been a community maker, so you will graduate to become a community guru. That is, you will see a lot of people within communities who are well settled and now no more pursue economy, but pursue the larger good of the society. So that they are community gurus. You also see a lot of industrialists who become philanthropists and who then help other industrialists to settle, new industrialists to settle without looking for any returns from them. So that is the economic institution guru. And then you have socio-political institution gurus. It can be politicians of erstwhile era and who move out of politics and then only anchor themselves. This is fundamentally a vanaprastha space, to be in. And you, of course, people through their pursuit of the divine also contribute to others' pursuit of divine. That is the rishi, saint, religious leaders. This and the highest form of mumukshus. Thus, you can see that the Purushartha pursuit helps us organize this, look at a leadership space in a totally different way, in a holistic way. Today, out of these 16 different leaderships, only few are focused upon. This Artha layer leadership has become a higher order focus, and we are further hair splitting and splitting and sometimes correctly splitting them into multiple leadership. So the entire leadership, literature, academics, papers, perspectives, teaching, courses has become excessively organized on the building others security layer without actually calling it so. And Purushartha as a perspective, as a lens, helps us look at other leadership spaces that are may not be empty, but does not get sufficient attention from the society, from the institutions, from the educational institutions, in particular from academics. And it requires us to look at this entire spectrum of 16 leadership spaces based on Purushartha for us to build a healthy society. With this, I will stop and end my presentation and eagerly look forward to questions from your side.
Yes, sir. There is one question as of now. Could there be any relevant shlokas for this which are available, sir? For the
there is this perspective is drawn from the nature of the relationship that exists between Purusharthas. So you will not find a direct leadership accounts, which refers to Purushartha like this. But if you read the Mahabharata space, what does a Nayaka do in Shanti Parva, in Vidura Niti, you will find enough shlokas from which you can draw this perspective. But you will not have one shloka that will clearly say this. It will say, what is the nature of relationship between, Artha and Kama? Why does Artha go down? When does Artha take a hit? And what Dharma does to Artha and Kama? Or there will be a story where how, Dronacharya in the pursuit of Dharma ends up crossing a line which he does not realize. And by the time he realizes, it's too late. So you have to study the tradition and draw this relationship in a systematic manner. So you will not find a single shloka or a collective of shlokas directly helping you, directly painting this picture. So it's an act of research, I would say.
So the next question is, why only Uttama is considered qualification for being considered leader?
Adhama cannot be. I'm sure that is obvious that Adhama cannot be. Madhyama means you're not contributing. That means you're not aware. You're not self-aware. You're not thinking whether you are contributing or not. But that said, out in these 16 spaces, I can be, 15 spaces, I can be Madhyama. But if I'm Uttama in one space, that is karma to karma, then I'm contributing to others' karma. So I'm a brahmachari level leadership. That is. But who is a leader who helps the pursuit of dharma? That is leadership in Bharatiya Parampara. So if I am also contributing to somebody else's Purushartha at whatever level, then that is leadership. If I'm only worried about myself, then that is not leadership. And if I am contributing, then that has to be at Uttama level. Uttama level is I am contributing to some aspect of Purushartha pursuit of some other person. So I can be a leader in the family and I can be nobody outside. And you will see a lot of people like that, right? There's nothing wrong in that. I can be Uttama at all levels, within my family, all 16. It's unlikely that will happen. But theoretically, I can be Uttama at, till level 12 for my family. And to outside world, I can be Madhyama completely, which means I'm a leader within my family or within my community. And you see a lot of people who are not bothered about rest of the universe. But in their community, minus renunciation, they are at all 12 levels. So it's not just a 16 level leadership definition. This 16 levels could be operating differently in different spaces in which we are operating. So many of us, unfortunately, are great leaders in our professional lives. Will be at maybe, level 12. But in our family lives, we may be at level 1, which is bad actually. There is an imbalance out there. So you cannot be not contributing to the Purushartha pursuit of your family or immediate and only be contributing to the Purushartha pursuit at a institutional level, which is a problem. So obviously it is Uttama alone that is a marker of leadership. This perspective will help us gauge in all the spaces that we are operating in, at what is the level of leadership that we are operating in. So it's a mirror. It will tell you very clearly whether, there is a contradiction in my leadership configuration between different spaces.
Yeah. Can we go to the next question, sir?
Please.
How can we clearly categorize someone into one of the 16 categories of leadership? Any specific measures have been devised?
So I would say that right now at this stage, it's a self-evaluation is what I'm, we will know. Who is the best judge of it? The other party is the best judge of it. If my family is telling, yes, you are contributing to my desire, so you are ticked. So you don't need a material metric to say that. Yeah, you can evolve certain material metric. You can say that last year you did this year you did that, and I enabled this. So it's a metric, but that's not necessary. At some level, leadership is what your followers think of you, right? So if I'm in an institution, if my institution thinks that, yes, you have built security for us, then yes, you are in that space. Yes, but having said that, it is possible to evolve metrics at the nation level, and but it has to be contextualized. If let's say I'm a finance minister, then a new set of indices aligned with that can be developed for this. But if I'm a culture minister, another completely different set of matrices will have to be given. So there is no universal metric that is possible. The only universal metric that is possible is what your audience thinks of you.
So the next question is, can you please share some example of people who are falling approximately in these categories?
Yes. So, I thought of it. I thought let this question come rather than me saying that. So in the easiest space is, the Rishi Saint religious leader space. Adi Shankara is in that space. All our great religious Ramana Maharshi, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, they're all in that space. But if let's say socio-political institution guru, at one level, if you take a political leader like Yogi Adityanath, he will be there. He's already on a path of renunciation, but he is at the same time anchoring an institution, so he will be there in that space. But let's say economic institution maker, you can consider any good startup leader today, as being in that space. But somebody like, let's say, Nandan Nilekani would be in the economic institution guru space, because he's helping so many economic leaders, company, industrial leaders stand on their own feet without seeking any returns from them. So now, if you want to say, an evolving social activist, say a lot of people in the environmental leadership space are like that. Very young, 60-year-old Greta Thunberg, I would say I'll put it into evolving social activist. She may be very famous, but she's an evolving social activist who does not have full clarity, but somehow is in that space. It's her desire to be in that space and contribute to a very larger initiative that she fully does not understand. So, somebody like Rahul Dravid, he is a community maker. He's gradually moving to become a community guru. He doesn't expect much, but he has anchored sports in the community of Vishwanathan Anand. Is a greatest example of a community guru. That is the way he has anchored chess. It's his next generation that is today ruling the world. It just won gold medal in both men and women sections. He's been a established grahastha in the sense that he is a professional who excelled and like nobody else. He didn't build institutions, but he built a community. He did not build an economic institution. Rather, he built a chess community, and through that he evolved to become a community guru. He's renounced in the sense that he is not pursuing his own glory anymore, and to that extent, he's a guru. He's in the renunciation space and has guided people without any returns, and his influence is visible. It's visible because that excellence is valued today in the society. There are so many academic institutions, academic leaders like that, who built their own community of academicians and then moved on to become their community gurus. And society has not greatly honored them. But to think of some more people in the civilization makers, you can think of Sir M. Vishveshwaraya as first being economic institution maker. From a community maker, he became an economic institution maker, and then he became a socio-political institution maker because he became a Diwan, and then graduated after resigning from Diwan, moved into the next spaces. Of course, he didn't touch the last spaces. So these are some examples that we can. So he was at once a community maker, like institution maker, socio-political institution maker, who moved to become community guru, economy institution guru, and a socio-political institution guru, but did not move into becoming the last layer gurus. That is Sir M. Vishveshwaraya for you.
Yeah.
Thus you can see this, whole thing growing. Hope my examples were relevant and helpful.
So followed by that question, there's one more question. Where can we place Ratan Tata and Mukesh Ambani in these 16
So that is, I would say, economic institution makers. It's a good question. It helps to really, I should build a database of this mapping soon. So both were economic institution makers, are economic institution makers. They have not moved into socio-political institution making at all. Now, they are operating in that space between institution maker and economic institution maker, economic institution guru. The reason being, they have not fully renounced. Maybe Ratan Tata ji has renounced it and he has moved into that and he's helping. It's not that just because you are old, you don't become the guru. You become the guru when you while still having that energy, renouncing and guiding others proactively to build their own artha. Sri Mukesh Ambani continues to build his own institutions and probably does not have that space, or maybe doing it, we are not aware of it.
So the next question is, should we understand the desire to others to attain level 2? Should we understand the desire of others to attain level 2 or level 3, sir?
So the understanding the desire of others is extremely important. So it is level 3, 1 and 3 requires that. But what happens is, if you are building your own artha, then your ability to understand others' desire will be higher. That's why it's 3. So if you are at your own desires level, then your ability to understand others' desires and others' artha, both are less. Because when you are inward looking, you cannot appreciate others that well. So that's why that is level 1 and 2. And level 3 and 4 is when you have yourselves moved into a higher orbit. So it's not so much about the complexity of whether, whether you need the ability to appreciate others' needs. You of course need, but your ability is a function of where you are operating. You are operating at your desire level. Both your ability to appreciate others' needs and desires will be that much less.
The next question is whether Purushartha leadership styles, can we find them in modern leaders in the organization?
Absolutely. We are not using this lens. This is our leadership definition. We are we are sitting on a landmine, and in Kannada we say, in your angai you have, in your hand you have a gold, but you're actually searching for silver everywhere. So you have the most complete leadership perspective available right in front of you through your stories, because they are not academically represented in the modern academic narrative. You don't recognize it as a leadership framework. But if you read Mahabharata end to end, it's unmistakable, in the way Bhishma describes, Vidura describes, and 2-3 times you read those sections, it will become very evident. And we don't read fully, we only read abridged editions, we read translations of abridged editions, due to which we are not reading original stuff. So read original stuff, this will be crystal clear. I mean, it's not very difficult. I mean, there is nothing, it's not a rocket science at all.
So the next question is, it seems that Abraham Maslow's motivation theory might have influenced by Purushartha 4 layers.
Absolutely,
so what's
that is
her
true.
opinion?
In my mind, I can't prove it, of course, but yeah, I would say yes, and stop at that, because there is no proof, evidence that is possible. But there are still gaps. I don't think Maslow is complete, because after the addition of the transcendence as a layer, I think that completion it's moving towards completion. But I don't think the nature of the clash and the resolution of the clash and all finesse that is available in the tradition is fully available in Maslow's architecture. Yes.
So the
The
next
management
question.
fraternity has to really, um, we have to really think, are we being original? That is the question.
Yes. So the next question is, what is the basis of Purushartha? Is it consciousness? If we base our decision based on conscious factors like hunger, sleep, reflection, in self and others, then do we get Purushartha?
So it's not, see, that is in the artha space. Hunger is a necessity, it's a need. So what Purushartha does is to classify all our pursuits at 4 levels. That's all it does. It doesn't deny any reality. Rather, it recognizes all reality. Its purpose is to recognize it at the right level. The fact that the desire and the need are two different things is the real contributor of Indian perspective. And to also articulate that there is a clash between any two entity, and resolution is required, and life has to be organized for a proactive resolution of this. That is where the Purushartha comes into picture. So, whatever, every single human pursuit has to be recognized, but it needs to be classified at the right level. If I want to become a lawyer, then fundamentally that's karma. But if I want to solve a problem of somebody, then it elevates itself to becoming artha. Today in education, especially in the cities, kids are not able to make this distinction. Kids further are not able to make this distinction that there is a clash. If you ask an urban kid, okay, you want to become this, tell me how it hurts others, the kid will be aghast. The kid will say, how can anything I pursue clash with others? Then you say that if you are building a road, not only do you have to fell trees, if there are other houses, it has to be relocated and have to be compensated. Then they wake up. Now this consciousness has to evolve early, that there is a clash. It cannot, then they become false activists when this consciousness evolves much later in life. So when this consciousness evolves early, then they move towards dharma faster. And that is to become to intrinsically recognize this, and also then deeply think what must be there in the society to proactively resolve this. So it's need, hunger, all of that is reality, but being able to classify it at the right level of artha and kama, and to think what dharma will actually resolve this proactively. That is where Purushartha is. And to also recognize without the pursuit of the divine, none of this attains stability. And to recognize that beyond all that, recognize that there is a pursuit of divinity in the society. And if democratically we cannot destroy it, that itself is, is first level 1 Purushartha.
So the next question is it possible to achieve higher level maturity by will or natural process of evolution?
Fantastic question. So what Bharatiya Parampara says is that without a certain pursuit of sadhana, it is difficult. Every 2 levels requires some kind of a pursuit. So that's why the divine pursuit exists. So a good evolution from one level to another level, it is partially possible intellectually. So through your buddhi and manas, you can walk some distance, but without divinity, without daiva, that intuition does not come. Without renunciation, without having a sense of renunciation and the pursuit of the renunciation, it is difficult. That is why things fail. Things fail because your wanting to be in a higher space cannot be merely your desire. It has to be a function of your pursuit of divine, the 4th one. So it's not just your first one, that is karma, that will help you elevate yourselves. Today what has happened is leadership has become a desire. It's become, and desire anchors on ego. So we call it Arishad Varga. Artha Kama anchors themselves on Arishad Varga. Whereas Dharma Moksha helps you move away from Arishad Varga, and that helps you see things better. A renunciator always will be a better leader, simply because not having a stake of his own, one will be able to see things much more clearly. So only when your Arishad Varga is withdrawn, you develop the ability to see things more clearly. So anybody who has contributed well in the society, wherever it is, has developed a higher order renunciation, and that requires some sadhana.
So the next question is, can we live all the Purushartha in our lives?
Yes, absolutely. To what extent is the question? The extent alone is a function of one's abilities. I can fulfill my desires, but to what extent is the question. Similarly, I can create all securities I require, but to what extent is the question. So as long as one understands one's Svabhava and Swadharma, then Purushartha sets in seamlessly, and that's not easy. So, the conflict comes when one has a higher order karma than one's ability. And the resolution, and that's where gurus require, that's where family, ecosystem, good, right teachers, all of them should help people settle in. And these things happen. Sometimes these things happen without we calling it out in this terminology. It's happening all the time. But when it doesn't happen also, it creates trouble. So today the crisis is we are not able to guide people naturally to develop the ability to see one's own self and settle into right Artha Kama. If you settle into right Artha Kama, everything else will settle.
The next question is, can we train someone in an organizational setup to take up the particular leadership style?
Yes, absolutely. This is a must. That will be our institution. Our institution is to our industries, our corporate. They have to be anchored on these 16 leadership styles. You may not be a Rishi leader, the last 16th one you may not be, but all others you should be. All 15 you should be. It should be operating at every single space in its own way. 16th alone should operate elsewhere.
There are a lot of questions, but we'll take the last one or two questions because of shortage of time, sir. Whether these Purushartha traits are inborn or learned?
It's both. So our perspective of life is that everybody has the ability to move in this spectrum. Sometimes it may not be possible. There will be some limitations, I would say, in this life. And then tradition offers different solutions for that. But I would say in principle, minus the 16th, it is possible, theoretically.
Just the last question for the session, sir. Does the leader only want Artha or Moksha or all the four?
All four, See, if a leader may operate only in Kama, that's okay. But a leader has to have a sense of the others. A leader without any respect for renunciation cannot even be level 1 leader. They'll always create, or there would be an Asuri leader, I would say. We have a lot of such people, wrong leaders who will not be Purushartha leaders. If you can be a pure Artha Kama leader, and you will always create disasters. And there are enough.
Yes. So thank you very much for such an elaborative session, and the way you integrated the ancient wisdom to modern leadership principles, the 4 principles of Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. It was a very enriching session to all of us. Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of CES and on behalf of ICFI Foundation of Higher Education, Hyderabad, and Drama Institute of Management, Bangalore, we thank you very much for your wonderful session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity. It was my
Thank you.
pleasure to talk about a subject that I'm very passionate about. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste.